it's Jess, and welcome to Summerween! One of my favorite weeks every year. I love the Summerween readathon. I always want it to be fall. And this week we are channeling the fall atmosphere in the middle of summer. I know you are probably wondering, like, Jess, if it's summer, why are you wearing a sweater? Jake is in the other room trying to sleep off a migraine, and he has like bumped the AC way down because the pain of the migraine is like making him sweat. So it is freezing in the house, which I think honestly is a good omen for Summerween, right? Like, we're channeling the fall, we're channeling the scary vibes, and it's freezing in my house right now. It's fantastic. It feels like fall. I'm wearing a sweater. I love it. If you don't know, and if you could not guess based off of everything I've said so far, Summerween is a week-long readathon where we read scary books, thrillers, and horror. It's set in the middle of summer because by now all of us are sick and tired of it not being fall. A massive shout out to Olivia and Gabby for creating this readathon and for running it every single year. They are fantastic content creators. I will leave their channels linked below. You definitely should check them out. There are prompts for what you're supposed to read for this readathon, but honestly, I literally never pay attention to the prompts. I just pick whatever like scary thriller or horror I'm in the mood for, and I just read that. I am hoping to read at least 2 books this week. I don't know what the second one is going to be, but the first one is going to be The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This is a brand new release. It is Riley Sager's newest novel. This is Riley Sager's last chance with me. I have moderately high expectations about this book. I really hope that he nails it. Like, I hope he knocks it out of the park. But this is an adult gothic thriller, and it follows a woman named Kit who is like a caregiver for the elderly. She gets a new assignment where she has to take care of this woman called Lenora Hope. Lenora Hope was accused of murdering her entire family like decades ago, but they could never find evidence. They could never prove it. In the present day of this novel, which I believe this novel's set in like the 80s or 90s, but I'm not positive about that, she has suffered like from medical conditions, and basically like she's no longer able to take care of herself. She can't like speak, she can't walk, so Kit is assigned to take care of her. And then once she gets there, Lenora is like, I'm gonna tell you my story. I'm gonna give you all the juicy details. I'm gonna tell you the truth. And then I think she starts to tell her story and creepy shit starts happening. The setup of this has so much going for it. I really hope I love this book. This is what I'm gonna start with this week. Hopefully I can finish it. And welcome to Summerween. I will talk to you when I have an update. Bye. Good morning. So it is my day off today, and as you can see, this is where I'm at in The Only One Left. I'm like just over 100 pages. So far, like, the book is kind of fine, kind of mid. It is not really feeling gothic at all at the moment. I mean, things might change. I am only like 100 pages into the book, so there's a lot of time for things to change. But so far, there really is like no atmosphere, there's no tension, there's no dread, really. There's no terror. This book is not really evoking any feelings in me as a reader, which isn't really great. I really like my thrillers to evoke some type of emotion in me, whether it's like anticipation, tension, dread, anxiety, terror, like actual fear. I don't really care what emotion, but I would like there to be some type of emotion, and I'm not getting any. The house setting is pretty great, though, I will say. I do like the descriptions of the house. That is definitely the most gothic part of the story at the moment. But like, again, there's just something about Riley Sager's writing that just like is not nailing the descriptions. Like, they're not really hitting. So I do appreciate the effort that he put into this. You can tell this time around Riley's using like a lot of metaphors and very descriptive language. But again, it's just like not really hitting the right note. So the descriptions all end up kind of falling flat. Now, on the other side, I will say that it is very readable and it is very entertaining. I don't see this becoming a 5-star read, but you know, it's a good time. Honestly, I'm hoping that I can finish this book today, and hopefully I will talk to you later and I will have completed this book. Okay, it is many hours later at this point, but I finished The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and my feelings can be summed up by saying that I'm a little bit sad I paid full price for this book. It's not bad. It really isn't. Like, it's not bad. I think I'm gonna settle on like 3 stars for this book. And I do think that this will probably be my last book from Riley Sager. To be perfectly honest, like, this is a disappointment, but I want to make it clear it's a disappointment in terms of what my expectations were, not in terms of this being a bad book. I want to make it very clear, I do not think that this book is bad. If I thought it was bad, it would not be a 3-star read. And I do think that, like, if you're already interested in this book, then, like, hell yeah, pick it up. I don't think you should pay full price for it, but absolutely pick it up, read it, give it a go. My main complaint boils down to this just did not hit. It didn't hit. I don't think that this is actually a gothic novel. And that plays a massive role in what my expectations were for this book. Like, if you tell me you're writing a gothic novel, I expect you to write a gothic novel. Now, if you tell me a book is like gothic vibes, if it is gothic inspired, if it, you know, plays into the gothic aesthetic, then I don't expect a gothic novel. But if you tell me it's a gothic novel, then I expect a gothic novel. So I have the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, which has like an interview with Riley Sager at the back. And he says like the gothic aspect came about as I started plotting the book very early on. I had a mental image of a young woman wearing an old-fashioned nurse's uniform standing in a dimly lit hallway. Since that screamed gothic to me, I decided to really lean into it. And I don't think that Riley was successful. An attempt was made, but I just genuinely think like this book, it needed more time to cook. He got so lost in the sauce trying to turn this into a gothic novel that all of the atmosphere and all of the feeling left the book. Like, I did not feel any emotion reading this book. I think that like there was no atmosphere in this book the way there really truly should have been. This should have been so atmospheric. And the thing is, I know for a fact Riley Sager can write atmosphere because Home Before Dark was like that bitch. Home Before Dark was atmospheric as hell. So like I know he can do it, but not in this one. Not in this one. I think that this book needed to cook longer. On the plus side, I will say that this book is very, very readable and it was entertaining. So I might not feel anything. The atmosphere might have been a 0, but I was never ever bored. I enjoyed myself reading it. It just didn't live up to my own personal expectations, which, I mean, you could argue is a me problem, not the book problem. But at the same time, I know Riley can deliver, so like, I feel justified having expectations. I also think Riley did a really, really amazing job casting suspicion on a ton of different characters in this novel. Like, you're working with a limited cast of characters in the first place, and I love it. I love it so much when there is a reason to suspect the entire cast. There are multiple things that you are trying to figure out as you go along, and you just can't, because Riley did such a good job of casting suspicion on so many different people. Yes, I did just hit myself in the face with the book. I also want to say that like this ending is the Riley Sager ending. This ending is the Riley Sager ending. Now, I want to put one caveat on that. The last little bit, like the very last little bit, if you've read, you know what I'm talking about, literally cut that shit out. I think not only is that part bad, I think it like actually kind of ruins things that happened earlier in the book, and like it makes you like re-examine them and be like, this is stupid. Not like this is bad evil, which would be okay. More like this is just stupid. Like it's bad, like it's bad like plotting and development and shit like that. But if you cut out just like the last little bit of the book, the ending is a banger. It's great. And it is a true Riley Sager ending, which just makes you just, you just going. You're just along for the ride and you're just going, and you know, it's fantastic. So yeah, honestly, this book is entertaining as hell. I don't recommend paying full price for it, but I think if you're interested, give it a go. 3 stars for The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I think this is where Riley Sager and I have our little breakup moment. I had a good time. It was fun. I don't think that we're gonna have a serious relationship moving forward. There just isn't enough time for all of the books that I want to read. Summerween is not over though, and I have chosen my second book. I'm gonna pick up All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This is a domestic thriller. It's adult that follows a woman. Her son was kidnapped a year ago, and since then the case has gone cold, and so I think like she ends up teaming up with like a podcaster who like makes a podcast about cold cases, and they try to either like piece together clues that they missed and like bring attention to the case so that it can be solved. It's almost time for me to go to bed, but this is what I will be reading next. Talk to you later. Do you know what the best part of winning is? It's when you win. We're winning today. We are winning today. Oh my gosh, this book is so good. Okay. Back it up, reel it in, Jessica. First things first, it has been several days. I'm sorry, I didn't give updates. It's just been chaotic. This summer has just been the most chaotic season I've ever had, I think. Like, it's not that anything bad is happening. It's just like, I feel like I'm always on the go and I'm always doing like really random things. You guys don't care about that though. You guys care about the book, and the book is good. Oh my gosh. I loved this. This is such a good time. Okay, first of all, remember how I said that there was zero atmosphere and the only one left? This has atmosphere out the ass, like so much atmosphere. First of all, this is set in the summer. And it's set in the South, I think Louisiana, but like honestly, I didn't take the time to double check. But it's set in like a swamp city. The descriptions of the swamp are so good and so gross, and like the smells and the mud, like, ooh, it's so atmospheric. You feel like you're there. It is so excellent. This also has like a dual timeline, which I didn't expect. And in the past timeline, there's a lot of time spent at Isabel's childhood home, and she basically like lived in a southern Gothic mansion as a child because like her dad was like super rich politician. This is not a true Gothic, but this felt more like a Gothic than The Only One Left, to be honest. This gave me exactly what The Only One Left didn't give me. I'm so happy that I read this in summer. This is like the perfect summer thriller. This book is also paced like so perfectly. The reveals come at like the perfect time. They feel like they're earned. The tension and the suspense and the overwhelming like dread and like it was so juicy. There's something about the sensation of dread that goes so well with like the descriptions of like the swamp and the mud, and like that it's summer and it's like 110 degrees and it's humid and everybody's sticky and sweaty and like the air is damp. The physical atmosphere of the book is oppressive, and then that is accompanied by like this oppressive sense of dread of not knowing what's going to happen on the next page. I ate it up. It's so good. And like this book is also full of like messy characters. I loved the mess. The mess was top-notch, phenomenal. Also, I don't know if this is in the synopsis, but like you discover it in the first chapter, so it's definitely not a spoiler, but Isabel has been suffering from like very severe insomnia. All she can do is take like what I guess her therapist calls like micro naps. Since like her son has been kidnapped, she just cannot sleep for more than like an hour at a time, and usually it's just in like 30-minute increments. So she's just like permanently exhausted. She's tried multiple types of medication, she's tried all these different things, and she cannot sleep, and she has been unable to sleep for an entire year. So like, you also have the unreliable narrator trope. It's done superbly in this book. I love an unreliable narrator, but I think it is so difficult to pull off well. I just like honestly don't have any complaints about it really. Like, if you like books that are super atmospheric and feature just like a whole cast of very, very messy characters, I think that you'd really, really enjoy this book. Like, it's so good. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so happy I read this. Like, it's just so good. So there you go. I read 2 books this week. 1 3-star, 1 5-star. I do technically have 1 more day left of summerween, but I think I'm gonna end the vlog here because honestly, I don't see myself being able to finish another book this vlog with only 1 day left. So I'm just gonna call it here and end the vlog on a high note. I had so much fun this week. If you participated in summerween, let me know what you read. If not, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me today. I hope you stay safe. Please stay hydrated this summer, wear your sunscreen, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!